Let's finish the pipe boxes that are not pipe boxes, and we'll paint them red. Welcome back to the shop of the channel. I have painted the insides of the box. You know, just it should be painted on the inside, but there is a glue surface here. Here's a side. There's a glue surface here and a glue surface here, and I'm painting the inside, so this surface facing toward the viewer would be painted, but you don't get good glue adhesion with that. So what I did is I clamped the side to the back and with tape already on the back, and I took a razor and cut out that shape. So when I peel this off, if I can get a hold of it, paint's still a little tacky. Here we go. So I peel off the tape at an angle. There's my glue surface. So now I can glue it to wood, and it'll be end grain, side grain to side grain when I start putting this together, which is coming up. The other one is still a little tacky as well. See? Oops. All right, there, we're done. So now I've got glue surface here and here on both of the backs, which will in turn allow me to glue the sides on without any worry of not getting good adhesion. So I need these to dry a bit more before I go ahead and start putting these together. I haven't made the bottoms yet. I gotta make the bottoms. That's no big deal. That's a quickie. So I'm gonna let these dry, and I'll go through the process of just making basically making the bottoms, cutting out the square, and routing a profile on the sides and the front, because the bottom is going to be flush with the back. So that's that. After I took that first segment I just shot and put it, uploaded to my editing computer and looked at it, I thought, let's add one more detail. You've probably seen this before, especially if you watch any of Eric Curtis's videos. E. Curtis, I'll link to his channel down below, because he does this too, and a lot of others do. And that is the way that I got the nice clean lines, which I described earlier to get the glue joints here. So I've got a pretend back of my box, and I've got one of the sides, which I'm going to use the unpainted side to demonstrate. So let's come on close down, and I'll show you exactly how I do this. Or anybody can do this, or how everybody does it. First things first is put a tape along the entire glue surface of what you're going to be painting. I usually want to get the tape right to the edge, the outside edge of the workpiece. So now I've got that tape on there. So I take fold it down so you can get the edge, take my workpiece that I'm going to use as my cutout template, and just gently clamp it in place. So you can move it around, get it exactly where you want. There. And then I take the knife that I put back on the workbench, which I shouldn't have. Got a nice sharp utility knife here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut through the tape on the top right to that corner, and then cut that all the way down the workpiece like so. Now, if all goes well, and there you have it. So now you can paint or varnish or finish any way you want here. And when you're done and ready to do your assembly, again, like I demonstrated, you peel off the tape, and now you have that nice, clean, unpainted, unvarnished, whatever, glue surface right here. So that I'm sure that makes sense. Everybody can figure that out. What I'm going to do next is, instead of gluing this up right now, I'm going to make the bottoms for these boxes, and they're basically just, like I said, a rectangle with a profile cut on on 3 sides. And let's do that with just music in the background. And that was the quick and dirty run of making the base. I decided to go with a little more, I don't want to call it sophisticated, but a little slightly busier profile on the base, as you can see there, instead of your typical OG, double OG, or round over. So that's where that's at. Got a few pieces of chip out I got to fix, no big deal. Again, this is old stuff, supposed to be old stuff. And this is the back. Oops, get that out of the way. The back goes here, and the sides go here, and the front goes here. I've got a 16th inch reveal all the way around on the top of the base. So putting it together is going to be a little finicky. So now we can actually start assembling these boxes and get them ready for the final paint. Time to assemble. I've drilled the holes for hanging. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the same technique I did to put the tape on the workpieces for gluing, and I'm going to put a piece of wood in the vise here to put the bottom up against that so I can make sure everything's tightly aligned. And then going to use Titebond here and some super glue here and wiggle it into place and then put a clamp on it, and that will hold it. Super glue will cure pretty quickly. I'm not going to use accelerator. I'm just going to put the super glue in there. And that will hold it in place, and then I can flip it around and do the other side. Or I can actually, while I'm here, do the other side. So let's do 1 or 2, and then we'll move on to show you what it looks like when the essential boxes are done. Now, with the bottoms, which haven't been painted, I've drilled and countersunk for screws to screw this onto the bottom of this. And then a nice little treat, I'm going to put some antique nails through it on the front to make it look antique, kind of. So let's do a wee bit of gluing here. I'll put the Titebond down here. It's a little much right here. Okay. Oops, pause. And then super glue here, there, and there. I'll do one close in camera to get it all lined up. And that's it. That's all lined up. Now I'll let the super glue cure, which actually it does its thing pretty quickly, and then we'll come back and do the other side. But I'll do a close-up of doing this so you get a better look at what's going on. Like I said, a small bead of glue. You see that big glob right there? You don't want that big glob right there, so get that out of there. And I've got some open space here and here. I put down the the super glue or cyanocrylate, whatever. And now this is the wing, the side that's going in this in place here. It's up against my back plate, and I'm lining it up with the edge, all by hand, because your fingers are the best gauges you've got. Give it a mild clamping, a little bit of clamping. And that's fitting right there. I'll touch up, no big deal. And now this will sit for a few minutes, and I'll flip it around to the other side. Then we can put the fronts on, which have, you know, the join us stuff on it. And there we go. Bases are in place, screwed. I have to do the nails, you know, the decorative nails, do the fairing here, and then paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all that stuff, and I'll do a quick shot of the finish of the finish of the project, and then we'll hopefully move on to something else soon. And there it is, painted and ready to be displayed. I'll close up here, see, pretty red color letters. I found I needed a little rotary table, which I don't have in the shop, to put this on so I could paint it, you know, something for small parts. You use things like this for small parts. Well, I grabbed my wife's cake decorating wheel, which she uses in her pottery, and she said, okay, but make sure you cover it and no paint gets on it, which I did. It's nice and clean. So I've decided I need to make myself a rotary table for doing small parts on, and so I bought a Lazy Susan base kit here. It's the same thing I used on the Tormek, which you can spin around to do grinding and cut from the front and from the back, because you grind on the Tormek two different ways. You do one type of tool from the front of it, and you turn it around and do other types of tools in the back of it. Depends on what you're doing. So this will sit on the table at our events, and the brochure with Bonnie Prince Charlie's face will be showing nicely. So that ends this video, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do next. I got a couple of small projects coming up. I may do a tool review because I've had some disappointments in one of my Ryobi tools. So I might do that. Anyhow, so until next time, make great things out of wood.